Oh, yeah, let's call it that. Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome along to the final episode of our Flume Inspired track from scratch series. It started off simple with a 10-minute drop challenge in the style of Flume, then got turned into a complete track from scratch series, and now here we are with the mastering episode. Obviously the final episode, because once the mastering's done, that's it. Might actually post the song on the channel as well, so it's almost the last one, but no, it's technically the last one. So inside of Ableton we have our final render of our Flume Inspired track from scratch. This is the track we've been working on for the past however many weeks. And we also have 4 reference tracks. We have, of course, a Flume track, another Flume track, another Flume track, and then an Alice in Wonderland track. Why I said the Alice in Wonderland track thrown in the mix? All the Flume tracks are basically the equivalent of MP3. It's whatever Apple's format is, M4A. But the Alice in Wonderland track is WAV, so it's better quality, so we can reference the highs a bit better, and the dynamics compared to the others, even though the others are Flumey and we're going for a Flumey track, so we're gonna master it Flumey style. So let's get started. We'll do a rough master inside of Ozone 7, I think, and then we'll start comparing it to our reference track, kind of get a gauge of like what we're lacking or got too much of, and yeah, just compare and then create the final mastered track. So for those of you who are new to mastering, I'll try to break it down as much as I can, but basically we're gonna do all the mastering, all the loudness, the width, the dynamics, everything inside of Ozone. Okay, let's get started. Typically what I like to do is equalizer first, and then do a high pass cut. Everybody has their different theories on what works, what doesn't. I think anywhere between 20 and 40 or all, maybe 20 and 30. How many subwoofers can crank out 20 hertz, which is super low, effectively? 20, why not? I don't think we've got any super low notes anyway. Another thing I like to do is listen to the drop, maybe just chuck it on loop, and bring up these filters, tighten them off like that, and listen out for any frequencies that make you go, oh damn. Oh damn, so that's a bit too much. We'll just drop the gain a little bit there. This is to help kind of clean up your mix and figure out any problematic frequencies before we go boosting the volume and make everything louder, including those problematic frequencies. There's another one. No, it's around here. Alright, that's good enough. We can do it before and after. 8.4 dB is a little bit excessive, so yeah, 4. Bring it up. Alright, so we're basically done the EQ. Moving on next would be, let's go with the imager. With the imager, everybody kind of has like a different style. Typically, we all try to keep the sub mono-ish. That might spark an argument, but that's typically how it's done, and then the rest is up to you. I've referenced quite a few pendulum tracks off Immersion, and I kind of know the rough levels, what I want to aim for. I know we'll compare it to Flume as well, see how he typically does things, and we'll go from there. So, sub maybe 80-ish and below, we can keep that mono. This is mono, meaning it's centered, and up here is wider, meaning it's more like spread out. So, we can solo this band. I typically like to have it between the 0 and the 1, like the halfway point, which is proving to be very difficult. Well, we kind of got that on point. Let's move up to the higher band, which is way too wide at this stage. It's roughly in the middle, and then the high. It's way too wide again. I want to say about there, possibly. That sounds a bit more controlled, so hopefully it's all good. You also might be wondering why I'm just looping the drop. Well, I figured if you make the drop excellent, the rest of the track should sound just as good. But famous last words, I'll definitely check the other areas of the track to make sure we don't have any like problematic frequencies or bits that are too loud or too quiet, etc, etc. But I like to start with just focusing purely on the drop before I move on to the rest of the track. I guess the drop is kind of where you make your impression. So next up would be Exciter. I'm a big fan of the dual triode. I think this just makes it a bit more shiny, a bit more detailed. I'm not going to go cranking up like that. I'm just going to add like little bits here and there. I noticed in my mix downs I kind of like lack a little bit high end, and in this stage I just try boost it up again so it's at like a normal level. And a reference, we'll tackle that as well. We just want a little bit here and there. But don't worry, we're going to control these bands of frequencies even more in the next stage, which is dynamics. I'd say this is the hardest part of mastering. It's crucial to get right, otherwise, I don't know, it just really affects your whole master. No pressure, by the way. Or pressure on me, because I'm showing you guys. Let's just start with the low end and then move our way up the high end. Aim for maybe like a punchy bass, so it means slowish attack settings, fast release settings. And we'll get like a couple of decibels on the threshold. So see that? That's probably a bit too much. Maybe just a couple in the loud parts. Yeah, let's aim for that. Okay, threshold's already set, sweet. And we can reference by changing it to this view. So we change the attack and release settings, it changes the slope and the curve. That's really aggressive. That can't sound good. It needs to be more gentle than that. So maybe you set attack at 76. Hopefully bypass the initial kick of the kick drum and latch on to the sub bass below, so we can control the sub bass a bit more while still retaining punch from the kick. I think that's just missing the kick drum, which is good. I will try to do the same for the midsection as well. Maybe missing the higher end of the kick drum and the snare. That's looking good. Oh, that's not. Maybe a little stronger ratio, so that's stronger compression. We can control that later. This is just to get like a rough idea. Mastering's all about like going away, coming back, seeing what's right, seeing what's wrong, and fixing that, going away, coming back, etc., etc., to get the finished master. So by all means, if I have a setting now, chances are that might not be the final setting for the final render. This is kind of like to sculpt the master in a way. I'm trying to think like a painting metaphor. We're drawing the hillsides, we're not painting in the sheep yet. Time to draw the hillsides with this higher band. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of kick, there's a lot of snare. I think the higher up the frequency spectrum, so low, mid, high, and then super high, you get stronger and stronger values since it's quicker, and there's not lower, slower notes like a sub bass going boom. The higher end is more like your hi-hat, so you need to latch onto those frequencies quicker. So attack. All right, that'll do. Alright, so that's the dynamics roughly done. I haven't adjusted the gain for each of these bands yet. So we're taking away quite a lot of the tracks like energy through this compression. Like all that, all that, all that, and that. So we need to bring up the volume. But that's when the reference tracks come into play. And moving on to the last essential part in the chain is to maximize the shit out of it. So if you don't already know by now, threshold really makes that loud. Jeepers. IRC4 is a banger, been using that for a while, and then fast because we want it loud and we want it good. Not too loud. Loudness wars, watch out. True peak limiting, it's wise to turn that on, otherwise you might go above 0 dB. I don't know why true peak limiting isn't always on, but you know, it just, I don't know. Ozone, why isn't it always on? Alright, I'm gonna change the view from session to arrangement. Crank up that, and I'm gonna roughly aim for that lighter blue one to be 6 to 5. That's, I think, a healthy level. If we check out the other reference tracks. Around 6. Around 6 to 5. Around 6 to 5, so that's gonna be loud. Yeah. Alright, we're aiming for 6 to 5 dB RMS. Alright, let's keep an eye on this bar and we'll drop that threshold. Oh my god, we're gonna run out of threshold. No, we're not. that is loud. Jesus. And we're gonna crank up the sub and everything else as well. Sick. Maybe just drop that off. It's up to you how loud you want your tracks to be. I don't like it too loud. It detracts from the punchiness and the transients and all that good stuff. Alright, so the maximizer is roughly set. Let's go back into the dynamics and reference them with our reference tracks. Let's start with the Helix Flume tune. Let's check out the spectrum. We could probably have a tiny bit more sub bass. .5 dB. And back into spectrum. That's not good. We have the super saw chords, which of course are going to be louder and super sorry and fill up more frequency spectrum because there's more to it, I guess. But in this case, he doesn't have any super saw chords. Might be wise to reference another track instead. I know, we'll use our air for a bit, see what happens. Alright, we have a lot of low mids. Holy shit. I think we got too much sub as well. Load up an Ozone on Lose It. Turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. We just want to listen to this band. Well, our one's a little bit too wide. You can really hear his chords compared to our one. It's just... there's a lot of drums and not that much super saws. So what we could do to combat that is drop the threshold even more. So it's crunching the drums just a little bit. And then crank up that. We're getting better, we're almost there. Our high end's just a little bit too punchy compared to the Flume one, so we could drop that and then bring up the gain a little bit. Alright, let's see how this sounds actually. We've been doing a lot of sculpting. Alright, let's do before and after. Our one was so punchy. Holy shit, all those drums. I feel like we're killing a little bit too much of the punch and energy in our track by doing that. You can hear us drums, but they're just a little bit more punchy, so maybe we might drop the attack just to let a little bit more snare and high end come through. You can really hear from like a super quick attack such as 0. That snare just getting boom, and if you go higher. So we want to find the median ground. It's all about working with those reference tracks and find the right one and seeing how your track stacks up compared to your reference tracks. I think ours is a little bit too wide as well. So we could easily reference that to a Flume track. It's got super sorry chords like ours, so I might just want to reference that one instead. Okay, so let's just load up an imager, solo the low end, and see where it sits on the phase correlation level? I don't even know if that's the right thing. Oh my god, that's so wide. Flume likes his sub bass wide. See where I gave a little disclaimer at the start? I don't know. Well, fuck it. If Flume's making it wide, we're gonna make it wide as well. You know, to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drop down my pants. Imager 80. Let's get this on a Flume level. So I'm kind of happy with it there-ish. All right, let's move on to the next, which is the low mids. All right, that's roughly the middle. Sweet, we have successfully imitated that. So ours is roughly in the middle as well. Oh, we are on fire with this. Oh, that's super wide. Okay, we might push out our high end just a little bit more as well, make it a little bit more wide. If you didn't notice, -1 is fucked and +1 is mono. You know what, that'll do. Alright, let's do a before and after. Ozone just too wide. I'm really gassed with how this is going. Like, the track's sounding better. It's sounding, I don't even know if Flume mastering is a thing, but it's sounding like a Flume master. It just sounds more controlled, more clean, rather than just like a little bit all over the place. We haven't even referenced Alice in Wonderland. Might do the high end reference now. That's great. She's got a little bit more high end, so we're gonna crank up the high end as well. Might even add a little bit more excitement. Since boosting the gain is it's just boosting whatever we have, we kind of want to like add more to it. That made a lot more sense in my head. I don't even know where I was going. So. Oh, that's clean. So much high end. Alright, let's take off this dumb loop. I forgot to change the jack U step. I'm still not sure how I feel about that. It's kind of gloomy. Maybe it's just got a bit too much reverb. I don't know, when I upload the final track to this channel, you'll know if I stuck with the jack U snare or not. How loud are we getting the boot up? Not too loud, not too loud. Oh, that's kind of acceptable. You know what, I think we took away a little bit too much low end mids. So we're gonna bring them back up just a little bit. I'm happy with that, we didn't even use a sausage pattern or OTT. Oh my god, I heard the flanger from last episode. Completely forgot about it, but just heard it then. Is that a loud intro? Well, it's getting turned down slightly. Automation. Oh, yeah, let's call it that. So if you've ever watched me doing a master episode, you'll practically know what I'm going to say next. The next stage is to take a break from it. Your ears are probably adjusted to how the song sounds in its current state. So yeah, take a break, chill for 5 minutes, come back to it, sit down and see what needs to be adjusted. Listen to the reference tracks, compare it, see how it sounds to yours, do some tweaks. Then have another 5-minute break or however long, a couple of hours, couple of days, I don't know. And then come back, work on it. And then one day you'll come back, sit down, put on your headphones and be like, you know what, I'm happy with that. Let's make this the final and render it off. I don't know what else to say really. We're definitely gonna listen to it start to finish one last time. Yeah, big ups to you if you've been watching this series. If you've missed an episode, there'll be the playlist link for all these videos in the description if you wanna catch up on an episode or maybe just binge watch the entire series. And if you do wanna support the channel, there'll be links below. We do sell serum and sample packs, which are mint if I do say so myself. I've been using a heap of them in this series. So if you like a sound, maybe pick up a pack and grab the sound. It would mean a lot. So yeah, if you want some new inspiration, definitely check them out below. I guess it's time to listen to the track. Thank you guys so much for watching again. All right, let's have this final listen.